Cleats that only cost $1 to cleats that cost over $250,000 and every other price in between, the cleats are only gonna get more expensive as we move. Starting with the cheapest cleats in this video, Dookie and Nacho. Who? Exactly. He covered cheap cleats with tape just to make them look like popular shoes so we could finally go viral. Converse Chuck Taylors, Nike slides, even some off-whites. Once I saw him in some taped up house slippers, I thought his cleats can't get any crazier. Until he stepped out in some Gucci flip-flops. But as hard as he probably thought those were, tape is cheap as hell. So his $1 cleats are literally the cheapest in this video. There's cleats worth hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the cleats are only gonna get more expensive as we move on. So leveling up to Jamar Chase, his cleats were a gift from
LeBron James.
So today we got the unboxing of Fruity Pebble LeBron cleats.
Alright, these cleats are kinda fruity, cause they had Fruity Pebbles all over them and matched LeBron's fruity shoes. The package also came with a custom box of Jamar Pebbles, which I definitely slurp on. But even though Jamar wore his new cleats during practice and in games, his serial killers are some of the cheapest cleats in this video cause they only cost $160. So leveling up, another player's cleats were more expensive cause they came from a movie, Ghostbusters. Since the movie's characters not only use futuristic weapons that zap ghosts, and the ghosts would always attack back with green slime, those things inspired NFL players to actually buy things from the movie, and Josh Jacobs got cleats customized cause of it. With Ghostbusters logos, a mini version of the main character's weapons, the cleats were even covered in slime, along with Josh's name all over them. So of course he busted them out to go viral. But even though they're worth $290, Cam Newton got cleats that are worth way more for winning an iconic award. After becoming the only MVP in Panthers history, the company Under Armour, who always had Cam in cleat commercials and already made him crazy cleats like these, eventually created him some new shiny gold cleats to honor his biggest achievement. And they didn't just say MVP or have his logo. The cleats had Cam's craziest stats all over them. So he eventually debuted them before the biggest game of his life while he was hyped getting ready for the Super Bowl. But I guess he wore different cleats during the game so he didn't ruin his craziest pair, which is probably why his team got smacked. Ass. Regardless, the golden cleats were still crazy, and eventually 50 limited pairs were signed and auctioned off for $500 each. But CeeDee Lamb's cleats didn't just cost over double that. They honored someone whose helicopter went up in the air and killed everybody. The tragedy of Kobe Bryant dying out of nowhere is something that affected athletes everywhere, but nobody seemed more affected by it than NFL star CeeDee Lamb. That's why he not only spent 12 hours getting a back tat of Kobe, CeeDee also took a pair of Kobe shoes, the Midnight Navy 6s, and had them turned into cleats. They matched CeeDee's team colors, so he actually got to wear them during a game to honor Kobe. And from a catch that led to a touchdown, then making even more crazy catches, all while wearing the custom cleats. That's one of the reasons shoe accounts kept posting them, because his custom Kobe's cost over $1,000. Man, you gotta respect CeeDee for that. But now, even though the cleats that Davante Adams wore were on a whole other level of expensive, nobody gave a shit. The cleats still got him clowned by the entire world. Right before a huge game, Davante got a special delivery from his boy.
What you think, man?
And it was the perfect gift to make a statement that he was the NFL's biggest hype beast. Custom Jordan 1 Dior cleats. Pop Smoke would be proud.
Christian Dior.
Anyways, the cleats definitely weren't gonna go unnoticed, especially during a playoff game, because Davante stepped on the field and was instantly making plays, all while his cleats were things fans couldn't take their eyes off of. Everyone could perfectly see his designers during a touchdown catch, and since Davante became the first NFL player to ever wear that brand in a game, the cleats literally became a bigger topic than his highlights. Unfortunately though, Davante and his squad still lost the game, so fans made things worse by absolutely clowning his cleats. Some claim the cleats were fake, and a final fan let Davante know, now he'll be rocking those custom Dior cleats at home. Damn. But regardless of what Twitter degenerates said, Davante was chilling because no matter where he wore the cleats, they cost hella bread. $2,000, which is ridiculous until you realize another player's even more expensive cleats shine bright like a what?
Shine bright like a diamond.
Rihanna, shut your big ass forehead up. Shining bright like a diamond is an understatement. My boy Deebo Samuel is always shining because he actually wears diamonds. From earrings to watches, sometimes a chain. Even Deebo's feet were shining while he got hyped for a game. He was inspired by Nike Dunk lows that were shoes covered in over 1,000 crystals. So after seeing these, Deebo got him turned into custom cleats. After putting these on, not only did Deebo's cleats follow him into a game, they helped him make a bunch of plays while he was shining all over my goddamn screen. Seeing him in these had me not even wanting to call him by his name anymore. From now on, to me, he's Double D. Diamond Deebo, cause his shiners cost him over $2,500. But honestly, his cleats are cheap compared to a couple illegal cleats that players wore. Alvin Kamara, Deshaun Jackson, and Marshawn Lynch became NFL criminals because they didn't just break the NFL's cleat rules. Their feet got them fined thousands of dollars each. The first of the situations didn't even matter that it would ruin a player's holiday, because it was Christmas Day when the Vikings matched up with the Saints. Alvin Kamara not only stepped onto the field wearing different colored cleats, his Christmas spirit completely took over the game by helping him score not one,
Up the gut, he is gone.
not two,
Kamara, touchdown.
but 3 touchdowns in just the first half.
I never had 4 again.
And after saying that, man's made holiday history going off even more by not scoring just 4 or 5 touchdowns. He scored 6.
Now 6.
Which tied the record for most rushing touchdowns ever in a game, so of course he was out there doing some turf angels, man. Kamara was ho-ho-hoing the Vikings all game while his cleats stood out completely. But the NFL didn't care how good he played. Their cleat policy says that players' cleats must match team colors. And just taking a look at the Saints jerseys, all I'm seeing is white, black, and gold. That's why the Grinch, the NFL, felt like Kamara's cleats were the opposite of what they were allowed to be, so they slapped Kamara with a $5,000 fine. But that's the cheapest of the 3 times cleats got players in trouble. This next pair was beyond controversial from Deshaun Jackson. His crazy cleat situation happened around the time news kept breaking about police officers killing innocent civilians. So Deshaun felt like custom cleats could help spread awareness and eventually spark change. That's why he got a pair painted all white with a light blue tiger pattern that were wrapped in caution tape. Now, of course he wasn't just gonna wear them during warm-ups and go hide them. Deshaun kept them on for the game where he was dominating and even trolling his opponents. But what was on his feet got to some people's heads. Not only did Deshaun's cleats make their way all over sports shows, all the attention they were getting, combined with the fact that they didn't match Deshaun's jersey, became a controversial topic that the NFL didn't want to continue being involved with. So to stop players from doing anything like this ever again, they fined Deshaun over $6 grand. But as high of a fine as that was, Marshawn Lynch ain't even scared of police. You think he's scared of what the NFL could do to his cleats? Nah, that's why what he put on were so colorful, they took over the entire NFL. It's all cause Marshawn's always been obsessed with Skittles. He not only has a Skittles whip, pulls up to games in cars full of Skittles, and is on live TV doing tricks in his favorite candy. Once he got his own special edition flavor of the Marshawn pack, fans knew they were his favorite snack. That's why they started showing up to his games with Skittles signs and even showered him in Skittles whenever he scored. But all of that only inspired Marshawn to take Skittles a step further. He got custom cleats covered in Skittles, then put in Skittles lime-colored laces so everyone would look at his foot game. Man's even used the cleats to take over an actual game. And since everybody could see his cleats standing out, especially with cameras zooming in on them, the NFL eventually said, excuse me, sir. The league's not partnered with that brand, so your cleats are banned. Marshawn's cleats got him fined $10,000, but alright. Enough with the cheap-ass cleats, man. From this point on, we're only gonna talk about cleats that are worth tens of thousands of dollars, and we still have to get to cleats worth hundreds of thousands. But first, one player's cleats were so expensive, they look like they came from a jewelry store. Now, rocking jewelry ain't the only way Ray McLeod likes being flashy. He also loves wearing designer fits, especially his favorite brand, Louis Vuitton. That's why he took inspiration from these gold LV Air Force Ones that are honestly, oh my god, some of the sexiest shoes I've ever seen. God damn. My bad. So our boy got cleats customized just like him with a red tag and his initials on the side. Now, of course this man was flexing them right before the Super Bowl. Then in game, he was wearing them and cameras kept showing his cleats while he made catches and even during a punt mess up. But regardless of his mistake kinda costing his team the game, he still posted hella pics of his cleats again afterwards because they cost over $23,000. But as expensive as those were, they're nothing compared to players' cleats that came out of video games. Cleats that are from another universe, or the ridiculous $250,000 cleats that I promised earlier, man. And before we get to those, since you made it this far into the video, I'm hooking you up with a way to get in on the NFL action all season long. See, my boys at Game Time, who are also the sponsor of this video, hooked me up with tickets to go see an NFL game and show off the experience. So I hopped in a helicopter that flew over Wisconsin and showed up at Lambeau Field for a rivalry matchup. Walking in, I realized none of these fans knew it was coming, man. Then once things got going, I watched a couple touchdowns, including one from my boy who grittied on everybody. Hey, there we go, JJ Daddy. Honestly, this was my favorite football experience ever, all thanks to Game Time. And that's why you should join me next time by hopping on their app, because it's the best ticket securing experience you'll ever use. For any event, not just NFL, NBA, MLB, concerts, and more, Game Time shows the best prices available. One of my favorite features is this Game Time Picks section, because it shows the most highly anticipated events in your area, and when you click on one, boom, you can customize the spot and how many tickets you get. There's even a super deal tab that gives you an absolute top tier valued seat, like how for me it says this is a top 1% deal. And before making any purchases, you get to see the exact view you get from any seat in the entire arena. That's dope, man. It never matters if you're trying to buy tickets early, last minute, or late. The app allows you to handle everything stress-free with no hidden fees. And if honestly that's not enough, man, they're even letting me hook you up with a crazy deal for your first event. All you gotta do is download the Game Time app, create an account, then use my code FieldFlix, and I'm guaranteeing tickets to your first event are an extra $20 off. Terms apply. Listen, man, I just want you to experience a live event like never before, so you gotta try out the Game Time app at least this one time. And if you see something you want to show up to, use this code right here, FIELDFLIX, for a free $20 off. Then let me know in the comments what game you're going to, and who knows, man, I might just pull up right next to you. But anyways, back to all the craziest and most expensive cleats that NFL players own, starting with $30,000 cleats that came out of video games. I already thought that Patrick Surtain II's cleats looked dope because they were based on his initials, PS2. Of course they were also gaming console themed with PS2 logos all over. And not only did he wear them on his feet when he dominated a game, even his squad's Reddit page was glazing them. But other NFL players were gifted even crazier video game cleats for having the highest Madden ratings of all time. Like when Rob Gronkowski, Luke Kuechly, and Antonio Brown all got custom 99 cleats for being 99 overalls. The cleats were white with a bit of gold, featured pictures of them, and even said their names. But when the next Maddens came out, players got some other options. Khalil Mack got a custom box for his white and gold cleats. Bobby Wagner got some shiny Jordans, so of course dude was hyped when he got them.
Look at the cleats. Look at this cleats.
But Justin Jefferson got a whole ass Madden package that came with a custom PS5, controller, a gold-plated trading card, and obviously some all-gold Under Armour cleats with his initials, 99 overall stamp, and even some crystals. These cleats had it all. But Jefferson wanted to wear them to ball, especially during practice where he was acting like a fool.
You already know what I got on my feet. The 99s.
And he even put that shit on for the first game of the season where he went off for 150 yards. Video game cleats literally had this dude putting up video game numbers. But other video game cleats get pretty emotional, because what Christian McCaffrey wore was only to help one of his biggest fans' dreams come true. Logan Hale, a young kid who didn't just love McCaffrey, also loved playing video games. Until at just 12 years old, he was sadly diagnosed with cancer and forced to stay in the hospital for months. Now, at least he got a gaming system in the hospital to help pass the time. And honestly, it helped Logan through his situation so much that he and his family started the Logan Project, which raised money to put gaming systems in hospitals for other sick kids. Once McCaffrey eventually heard Logan was doing a lot to help others and was also a huge fan, McCaffrey visited Logan in the hospital, then eventually sent him a video encouraging him to stay strong. But just minutes after Logan watched the video, he passed away. Once McCaffrey heard that, he just had to honor his boy. So he got a pair of cleats designed with a digital gaming theme, Logan's name, and the Logan Project logo on the front. Then McCaffrey not only wore them during a game where he ran for almost 100 yards, scored a touchdown, and carried his team to the win. He signed the cleats before they went to auction, where all money raised was gonna fund the Logan project. And that's when the cleats eventually sold for over $33,000. Damn, shout out to McCaffrey, man. But alright, let's lighten the mood back up, because George Kittle's cleats weren't only on another level of expensive, they came from the second greatest basketball player of all time. Yeah, talking about that bald dude from Chicago who's not on LeBron's level, man. Anyways, look, George Kittle has always been a cleaterhead. That's why man's not only always rocking exclusive cleats, he even clowns other people for what they wear.
So you guys are out there at every practice. You guys watch us all the time, but you guys really need to up your sneaker game. It's absolutely atrocious. I got some Vomeros, those are fire. And Grant wears Vans every single day. New Balances, they look like Vans. Yeah, those are Vans. It's okay, but you wear those every day, so I need you to switch those up. But I observe all your guys' shoes, and I am disappointed in you guys as a community. It's year 8, guys. Let's figure this out together.
And the only reason Kittle can get away with doing things like that is because he's always got heat on his feet, especially when he took an already legendary shoe, the Jordan 1 OG Chicago's, and got him turned into custom cleats with red, black, and white crystals everywhere. But these weren't just for show. Kittle wore them while making catch after catch during one of his best games of the season. Hold on. Every time a player wears their expensive cleats, they go off. I think I'm seeing a trend of what players should do, man. Anyways, Kittle's sparklers were special, and that's why the person who designed them didn't just post pics of him wearing his creation because they were one of one. It's because the cleats were inspired by shoes that cost... hey, is this a typo? Oh, it's not? Yeah, I'm still recording. I'll say it now. Over $40,000. But just when you think things can't possibly get more expensive, two of the most legendary quarterbacks in NFL history have all the players in this video so far beat. What's on their feet only became the opposite of cheap because they accomplished things only GOATs do. Johnny Unitas led the Colts to winning not 1, not 2, but 3 championships. So once he retired and got into the Hall of Fame, the cleats he wore during his final season became legendary. Johnny wore black high tops all the time, like while meeting fans, taking team pics, and even during games. So even though his BBC, big black cleats, weren't something I'd pay money to have, $71,000 is what they eventually sold for. But Tom Brady's most expensive cleats cost even more, because when his squad matched up with the Chargers during the 2006 playoffs, everyone expected Brady to get smacked, which is exactly what started to happen as he went down 14-3. But eventually Brady was losing by just a touchdown with only a couple minutes left. And that's when he drove his team all the way down the field and made a few crazy plays to tie the game. Then he completed one of the best throws in his career to eventually set up a field goal that won the game. Now, Brady might actually be Jesus for pulling off something that insane, but clutching that wasn't even the biggest topic of the game. The white and blue Nike Zoom cleats he had on during the comeback completely stole the show, because they became the only cleats he ever wore during the playoffs that were signed and authenticated. So when they went up for auction, the winning bidder took them home for over $88,000. $88K? Alright, I can't even lie, that's definitely a lot. But now that we're getting into the 6-figure range, it's time we talk about a player's cleats that came from a different universe. NFTs were taking over, and everyone wanted a piece of the metaverse. So Andrew Sandeo not only copped one of the rarest NFTs, a Bored Ape with an army hat and Hawaiian shirt, he got cleats customized with his ape and its official number on the side. Now, that kind of reminds me of what NBA star Tyrese Halliburton did first with his own ape and combined it with bubblegum pink on some shoes. But wearing them on a court is one thing. I was actually pretty surprised Andrew wore his cleats while making tackles and helping his squad upset one of the best teams in the league. And seeing as that was the only time an NFT met the NFL, that's why his cleats combined with the ape were worth $165,000. Until NFT prices completely tanked, the picks became worthless, and people like Andrew realized they were a dumbass for spending so much cash. Now, at least Odell Beckham's foot game is forever, because his cleats weren't just the most expensive cleats that any NFL player owns, they set a world record. And I know, we gotta talk about a Super Bowl again. Seems like on the biggest stage players are always showing off, but Odell was planning to do that ahead of time. He had his shoe designer spend over 100 hours making cleats that didn't just have his team's colors over python skin. They had Odell's logo on the tongue, yellow gold, and a Nike swoosh made of over 1,500 diamonds. Now, alright, I never thought something this crafted would end up on a football field, but we're talking about the Odell, man. He's already been on a field in some of the most expensive and rarest shoes ever, Nike Air Mags. So, obviously on the day of the Super Bowl, Odell was pre-gaming and making one-handed catches in his new masterpieces. Even though they're the most expensive cleats in not just the NFL, but sports history, they cost over $250,000. But lucky for you, you'll never have to spend that much to click on this video, man. It's free. I got you, man. Click it.